women on my daddy's side are all shaped like they long lost ancestors are from South Africa, including my little sister. And then there's me. I got this, but God.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Verse or Belly Dirt channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I'm gonna be your today's host, and I have so many statistics to put up here, and we're gonna come out to talk about it. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
There is thick women, and then there is South African thick women. Guys, listen. So I just came across, I think she's a Kenyan woman, right? And she speaks about South African nyash and how she sometimes used to think that it was editing until she was able to meet South African women and she realized that it's all natural. I don't even think that South African women know how blessed it is that we are. And I remember there was a time I used to travel a lot, right? And I lived in LA for a while, and then I lived in New York. The amount of times that women or people will stop me to ask me where it is that I got my body done. Yo. And I mean, at first you're very offended. I would be like, what? But later on you get used to it. But also what I have realized is the moment you mention that you are South African, like they know. It's like people know. The moment I would say, no, I'm South African, they'll be like, oh yeah, South Africa, we've heard about South African women. Oh my God, you guys are so blessed, hey? And point is, there has to be a blueprint. Like I've always said, there's a blueprint. There has to be a blueprint. And where do you think the blueprint comes from? Africa, guys. Africa is the blueprint. When it comes to nyash, I no shame. South African women have nyash for days. And I always had to say to my male friends in the States, if you guys ever come to South Africa, you would lose your minds. You would genuinely lose your mind. And you just, I promise you, it's... I actually made a joke with my sister the last time we went to an event, right? And there were these white women, these white girls that were standing in front of us. It was like a concert a couple of weeks ago. And there was this white lady, and she had like proper nyash. And I said, guys, this is a joke. Look. And I said to my sister, white people have been in Africa so long, they're even starting to get nyash now. Sorry, nyash now. But point of the matter is that South African women are blessed. You guys don't know it, but we are super blessed. But yeah.
Now, I am not, under any circumstances, an advocate for slavery and enslavement because I am the descendant of enslaved Africans. I am Jamaican. But white people, when your ancestors were thieving black people from Africa, you lot couldn't thief a couple of them South African women and send them to Jamaica so Shay could have colonized a little piece of shape. Because I'm over here built like a Rubik's Cube on purpose, bruv, and it's not even my fucking fault. The shape of a South African woman is nothing that Caribbeans will ever be able to aspire to, because quite frankly in the Caribbean it doesn't exist. Bitch, I was watching this little South African girl just a while ago. This little bitch was as thin as an eyelid with some hips and ass. This bitch got back like an old Toshiba TV. Meanwhile, I'm over here built like one of Gru's legs. Like, excuse me, how is that possible? How did you manage to achieve this level of science? I don't get it. The maths is not mathematizing. And it's not just the hip and the nyash. Do you understand? It's the whole package. Like, they are sculpted. Their waists are small. Their belly is flat. Like, they look like a BBL body, but they're natural. Meanwhile, I'm over here built like one hair follicle. You know what I feel like it is? When the Watchers came to Earth and started snitching on God and his secrets, I feel like they taught South African women specifically how to acquire shape. And not the rest of us, because I'm out here built like the tail of a sperm. Other bitches with big ass and hips and titties, we always have a little mooper or a little fupa or a little gadoopa. We always have something that's gonna throw us off, but not you hoes. Nah, bitch, because from when I'm out here built like a whale tooth, just out here looking like I'm collecting krill, you bitches need to come and explain the science. Now, don't get me wrong, cousins. I love you niggas. But from when I'm over here built like one eyelash, I will always be a hater. Good night.
Guys, I want to try an experiment. You see these 3 girls? I want to see if my judgment is correct. My judgment is saying that they are very beautiful. So I want to see if my judgment is correct. Is that a spider? Madam, do you guys like spiders? Did you put it there? Oh. You know what I was doing? I was doing an experiment to see if you guys are actually beautiful. Well, you are. I was recording you guys from the back and I said, let's see if you guys are pretty. Madam, why are you frowning?
So I have a question. Do you guys not associate dark skin with South Africa? And I'm asking this because as someone who grew up in a city, as a dark-skinned person, I got asked a lot when I was growing up. Even now sometimes I get it. But I got asked a lot whether I was Congolese, right? Congolese was the main one. And then sometimes I'd get like, I got Kenya, I've gotten Ghana a few times. Not a lot. It's not very common. But I've gotten it a few times, and just a few other random African countries, right? Everything but South Africa. And I remember when I was younger, it was such a strange experience because I used to have, one of my best friends was Congolese, and she was lighter skinned than me, and she used to have the opposite problem, which was that people used to always greet her in their neck, right? So sometimes strangers would find us together and they'd greet her in Zulu and they'd turn to me and greet me in English, and I was always like, okay, you know, in order for people to talk to me in Vernac, I had to say something to them in Vernac. Then they'd be like, oh, you know. And I suppose that's my question. Do you guys not associate dark skin with South Africa and it being a South African feature? Because there were other friends outside of my best friend. There were other friends as well that I'd sometimes be with, like friends of friends that weren't South African, but they were yellow bones. And we'd have the same experience. People would speak to them in Vernac and they'd have to correct that. And they'd turn to me and speak to me in English. And I'd have to respond in Vernac to make sure that you can talk, you know. And I'm asking this because I remember also a few months ago, there's a lady who posted her 2 dark-skinned daughters here. And she wrote that, oh, my South African daughters, blah, blah, blah. And the comments were crazy. People were talking about how there's no South African person who looks like this. Those kids are, like, they were literally calling those kids xenophobic slurs. And I was looking at those kids and nothing about them said they were not South African. Like, I was looking at them and it was just like, okay. Like, I couldn't see what the outrage was about, but people were really angry. And it was like, I was just thinking, like, do you guys think that there are no dark-skinned South Africans? Okay, I know you know this, but another thing that I've noticed is that the dark-skinned people that you guys are willing to accept, they have to be extremely beautiful. They have to be perfect in order for you to acknowledge that they are. So yeah, like, what is it?
South African women, I apologize, I was not familiar with y'all game. I kept getting people coming on here and asking me, was I South African? And I was just like, no, I'm not. Why do you keep asking me that? And then somebody was like, go down the rabbit hole and go look at the South African women. I was not familiar with y'all game. The South African girls are like that. They really like that for real. The bodies, the faces, yeah. Thank you for the compliment. To even be put into a category with them of thinking that I could be that. Yeah. Appreciate that. Have y'all seen these bodies on these guys? Oh my God. These faces. One time, usually you only get one or the other, right? You either get the face or the body, but it's hard to get both naturally. The girls got both over there. Shout out to anybody who be supporting my platform in South African. Y'all fine.
There's those African beauty standards are the least non-toxic and healthy compared to East Asian beauty standard and American, European, Western beauty standards. Why? What do you mean you have rings around your neck and there's like lines or rings like fat around your neck? That's considered beautiful. What do you mean body hair is considered beautiful? What do you mean there's a culture that celebrates curves and curves is very beautiful? Yes, every type of beauty standards have things that are unhealthy and toxic. They also have colorism. There's still some parts in Africa where they bleach their skin. And whereas in East Asia, the whiter you are, the prettier you are. East Asians don't seem to value curves very much, and it's a culture where it's like the skinnier and emaciated you are, the more beautiful you are. Everyone idolizes the boy body. How is that healthy? African beauty standard.
South African woman. South African woman. God's first BBL. Ay, 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 ay. There are things that God did there that we are still trying to recreate that we cannot do. We cannot do it. The ratio, the hips to waist ratio, we cannot do it. There are women and there are women. You understand? Like there's women and there's women that woo. Skin like egg. Just shiny, pearly thin, just like egg. Like if you squeeze it, yolk will come out. South African women. And you think they know themselves, they know what they have. That's the thing. That's what when they're talking, they say, "Hi, oh, Nigerian men are just so crazy. Nigerian men, with the soft voice. I'm a man, I don't like it. I like those Emeka and they shake it." South African woman, you know. And the crazy part, the West is just understanding. I see videos of South African women all over the internet, and Americans are saying, "Lay off the chicken. They need to be on a diet. They need to work out." You don't know what you are looking at. You are confused. Diet? You cannot walk against God. You can't, repeat after me. You can't know what God has. Oh my God, my mic is, everything is shaking. That's exactly how it's always shaking when they move. Anyways, the point is South African woman. If you know, you know. That's all I can say. You talking about Popeyes. There is no chicken in America that can make that. No chicken.
Okay, I saw this post about South African women. And a Nigerian went to South Africa, and a Nigerian lady, she went to South Africa and saw South African women, and she expressed herself and was like, South African women are beautiful and all those things. And I want to also give my own 2 cents about South Africa. First, I want to say about South African women. There are 3 things I notice about South African women. I have a lot of South African girls, ladies as friends. And I want to say the 3 things I notice about them is that 1, they are naturally beautiful. In Africa, I will give them number 1. I don't know about Ethiopia or the other part of Africa. I don't really know, since I don't have a lot of friends that side. But from what I know the side, I can give them 1. They're very beautiful, naturally. Like South African women, they are so comfortable in their own skin. They don't like heavy makeup. They don't like makeup. They like to just be comfortable in their own skin. That is one of the things I learned from them. To be comfortable in my own skin without makeup. Before, if I want to go social media, I want to do anything, I must do makeup. And I was like, you don't really need this. You're beautiful. They don't do heavy makeup. Nigerian women, we love makeup. We love makeup. We love makeup. People who do full bridal makeup just to go and attend lectures. We love makeup. Secondly, they have beautiful shapes. They have beautiful shapes. Like even me as the woman, they'll have the small upper part of the body, but down there, if they sit down, you won't know. If they're sitting, you won't know. But the moment they stand up, the yash is that side. And even me as a woman, I will look and say, which kind of should be this? You know, there's no way you're not turn and look because we don't have it much. We have moderates. But South African women own. The yash will come out. The hips will blend in nicely with the bums. They are, and it's the post said if it's in their gene. It's in their gene. I can say that because if you've seen this whole trend of South Africans saying my mother gave birth like this, if you see the mom and you start seeing the children, you could just see it's in their gene. They have this. Third thing I don't like about them is they are understanding girlfriends. South African women are understanding girlfriends. Like, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, they're ready to date you. They're ready to be with you. They're ready to give you a chance in their life. They are understanding girlfriend. Me, as a Nigerian woman, I'm not understanding. Nigerian women the understanding girlfriend. They are very few. They are not understanding girlfriend. South African women, they are ready to pay their transport to come and see you. Pay their transport on a date. Just do their things for themselves with their own money. They are comfortable like that. Not like they have it too much, but they don't see relationship as a responsibility to the man. That's why I don't also blame our men when they like South African women. South African women are okay. They're modest when it comes to spending artificial things. They are modest. Like, they're ready to stick it out with you. Not based on money. But you see, South African Nigerian women. Nigerian women, we love money. Yes, we love money. Even me, I can't do understanding girlfriend. We love money. We love money. And I don't think we were like this. We were not like this. It's our men who spoiled us. Our men spoiled us. I will boldly say that one. Nigerian men spoiled Nigerian women. They are the ones who spoiled us like this. That now we always need money in relationship. They are the one who spoiled us. They like resuming responsibility that no one gave them. Yeah, they like spending that no one asked for. Now they've spoiled us to this point. Now we are now making it like a criteria in relationship, which is not supposed to be so. But even with that, I'll still choose Nigerian pattern than South African pattern. But I really admire that part about them. I really, really do. Okay? One love, Africa. There's no need bashing ourselves all the time. Let's speak nice things about each other.
Oh, what girl? Okay, look. This is the highest compliment that one can get on their body. Let me go ahead and explain. She said, girl, you have a South African body. First off, don't tell me that. South Africans have the best bodies, the best natural bodies that I've ever seen. Let's talk about the conversation of bodies and beautiful women and all that shit. A lot of people like to say shit like Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, or Brazil. Okay, I've been to Medellin. I lived in Medellin. I've been to Brazil, and I've lived in South Africa. Brazil definitely is a better body than Colombia. So let me just go ahead and talk about it. Colombians really are not naturally built well. Now, when I say built well, we're talking about the aesthetic that black people like. Okay, so what do black people like? A lot of ass. Colombians don't naturally have a lot of ass. They are flat and just they're not built well. They have a lot of surgery, and they surgeries. BBL stands for bad built lady. Without the surgery, and you're still a bad built lady with it. And I'm not hating. Clearly, I'm not hating on women's bodies because listen to the video. I'm talking about South Africa. So I've been there. The BBLs are terrible. They're naturally just kind of built. They're not. They're kind of built a little bit like Mexicans, which is not really a good shape. Selena Quintanilla fooled us. Okay. Brazil would be second. Brazil, I would say them bodies are really nice because they got that more of the European, that more, I'm sorry, not European, my God, more of that African blood up in them. So okay, I got you. But still, nothing beats aesthetically a South African body. Just in case you've never been to South Africa, let me help you to explain. It's what the Kardashians and everybody's trying to buy. That's what people are removing ribs for. Their waists are little as fuck, hips crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even really work out. They just kind of roll out of bed looking like that. Now, you have to be a secure bitch to walk around in South Africa. Even me, even with a body like mine. Look, I know I'm very blessed. You know what I'm saying? I got ass, titties, flat stomach, all that shit. But at the same time, I always had a little humility when it came down to the South African body because I've never had that tiny ass waist. You know what I'm saying? I've seen women's bodies who looks like cartoon characters to me almost. They look like that body's unreal. Were you just born with that? Especially in Johannesburg. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've been in Cape Town, I've been in Josie. It's just like, oh my God, shit, they motherfuckers is fine. So, if you're a black woman, again, this is about the black aesthetic. We're not talking about white aesthetics because we don't find that attractive. We're talking about what black people like, okay? So it's pretty much the highest compliment that one can give me. You know what I'm saying? A South African body, me, bitch, fuck, what? But I appreciate it. As a matter of fact, I want y'all to stitch this video, some of y'all South Africans with these crazy ass bodies so that people can see what I'm talking about. Because if you ain't been to South Africa, you don't know what I'm talking about. So I really do appreciate that compliment a lot. Like, that's the best thing you can say to me. Is that I'm built like a South African. Are you fucking crazy? I mean, I love you. And as far as dancing, if South Africans approve of your dancing, you win it. But we're going to make another video about that. But I really do appreciate you, boo. I love you for that. And did I mention the ass? I don't know if I said that. I washed it back. No, the ass. So the asses are huge. Like little bitty, tiny, flat fucking stomachs and huge asses and thighs that are matching because it's natural. That's what you see when you look at the curviness of a South African body. If you don't know, you don't know. If you do know, you do know. Look, their bodies are absolutely insane. Ass that they didn't buy. Not that fucked up shit y'all are getting with the BBLs in Colombia. Y'all look a fucking mess. All of y'all do. You look terrible. But y'all are trying to get like the South Africans. I'm trying to get like them. I'll never quite, I preach, but I'll never quite be like y'all. Because, like, my waist ain't like, I don't have the hourglass shit. You know what I'm saying? But y'all just have it, everybody's trying to have the South African body. If you don't know, find out today, nigga.
Alright, I have been trying to wrap my head around this whole thing for days now. Because listen, South African women, you are not from this planet. I mean, that's with all the love, all the respect, and all the confusion in my soul. See, I used to think we all came from the same clothes, just different cuts, right? Caribbean, American, African, same black roots, same ancestor energy. But no, South African women, you all got a different download. I don't know if the Almighty just decided to take his time with that region or if he was showing off when he sculpted you all. Because this is not normal. I was on TikTok scrolling like any regular day. And boom, I landed on South African TikTok. Bro, I froze. These women are out here looking like God himself was in Photoshop. Flat bellies, thin things, hips doing figure eight, and they still out here saying, oh, I'm just chilling. Excuse me, chilling where? In a genetic lab? Because I'm out here built like a Rubik cube that is missing two colors. And don't even start with the attitude, the pose. South African women carry themselves like they know they are fine. Not in that Instagram filter kind of fine. I'm talking ancestry profession, fine. The kind of fine that makes you question your whole lineage line. Wait, did my ancestors stop at the wrong spot? Now, I know some people get sensitive about body talk, but let's be real. This is more than body talk. This is cultural science, because how do you explain the precision, every shape, every curve, it's balanced. It's not the exaggerated type where you look cartoonish, it's harmony. Meanwhile, I'm here, a descendant of enslaved Africans, Jamaica roots, probably mixed up with 5 different tribes, 3 colonizers, and 1 confused pirate. And the mass is just not massing. Somewhere along that Atlantic routine, the recipe got watered down. Because the way these South African girls look, that is prime rib DNA. We over here running on breadcrumbs. And you know the craziest part? They don't even know how fine they are. They post videos on their school uniforms, house clothes, or at market just buying onions, and the entire internet goes into cardiac arrest. Like, sis, we are dying over here and you are just buying onions. That is a war crime. See, in the Caribbean and the States, we were raised on a certain idea of what beauty looks like. Flat belly, round hips, BBL curves. We think that is the gold standard, but South Africa is like, no, we will just do that naturally. They didn't go to the surgery, they went to the soil. It's like the ancestors said, we gonna leave you all with rhythms and hips. That is your inheritance. And the more I look, the more I realize it's not even about the bodies, it's about the energy. South African women have a certain grounded confidence that you can't fake. It's quiet, it's not performative. You can see it in their work, in the way they laugh, in how they talk to the camera. It's like, yeah, I know who I am. Meanwhile, a lot of women from the diaspora, myself included, we have been surviving, not living. Over our confidence comes with conditions. We were taught to shrink, to fit, to hide. We were taught that beauty is something to earn, not something we already have. And then here comes this South African woman existing in full HD glory, reminding us that beauty is not something to construct, it's something to inherit. And it humbled me. I will be honest, I was watching one girl, her waist was small like she inhaled permanently, but her hips, my God, that body defied the laws of Lydia geometric. And I'm sitting there looking at my reflection like, Lord, why you make me shape like a USB stick? But let's not pretend it's just genetic. Diet, lifestyle, and cultural play their roles. South Africans walk more, eat more natural foods, and culturally, they don't obsess over shrinking themselves. In our culture, everything is lose weight. Tongue stis, suck that, and over there is being healthy, be proud. You see that is the difference. It shows. And you can see how colonization affected our relationship with our bodies. Because after generations of being sold that black futures we are too much, that our shapes we are too loud, we started chasing after smaller versions of ourselves. But South African women seems to have kept that original blueprint, the one before European standards ever interfered. Now let's talk about faces, because if it was just the body, I did say okay, maybe it's coincidence, but these women have faces carved by angels, high cheekbones, deep brown skin that glows without foundation, natural hairlines that frame their faces perfectly. You can't buy that. That is ancestry prestige. And look, I'm not saying Caribbean or African American women hasn't fine. We are. We are just built different. Our beauty tells a story of survival. We are the daughters of those who endured the wars and still came out shining. But South African women, they are the daughters of those who kept the divine templates intact. They didn't just survive, they preserved. And maybe that is why when we see them, we feel both awe and egg. Awe because it's beautiful, and egg because something deep inside recognized what was taken from us. It's like looking in a mirror of what could have been if our line hadn't been broken. Still, I don't want to sound envious. This is admiration, just not jealousy. Because truth be told, it's inspiring. It's made me rethink how I see myself as a black woman. Maybe I'm not missing something. Maybe I'm just carrying a different story in my body. Maybe the softness of my belly and the fatness of my hips are just another version of black beauty. But I can't lie, when I scroll through TikTok and see a South African woman walking across the screen, it still feels like a cheat code. Like how? How is the waist doing that? How is the thing to hip ration built like divine architecture? It's not even sexual at that point, it's art. You just have to respect it, because in a world where everybody's buying beauty, these women are beauty, natural, effortless, ancient. And that is why I say South African women, you all are the final boss of black femininity, the ones who remind us what it looks like when the bloodline stays whole. You all carry the blueprint we have been remissing for centuries, and for me, as a black Caribbean woman, I'm not mad, I'm learning. I'm learning to love my body in whatever form it comes. And at the same time, I'm giving credit where it due, because it's not every day you see a group of women who made the world collectively pause. So salute to the South African women. You all got the whole package. And while the rest of us may joke about being built like Wi-Fi routers or broomsticks, deep down we know what we are looking at, divine craftsmanship. So yeah, I said what I said. South African women, you all different. But thank you for reminding the rest of us what natural, unbordered, God-level black beauty really looks like.
And if you watched up to this extent, don't forget to please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, why not just share your thought? Subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.